Hello, welcome to Follow Everton. This is the post-match phone-in for Everton 0, Manchester City 3. We're all feeling a little bit flat after that. But I suppose if you'd have offered me 3 points from the Brighton and Man City games, I would have snapped your hands off. I probably would have snapped your hands off for 2. So now that I've calmed down slightly, having got home from the match, feeling a little bit calmer, can try and think about it rationally. And I'm up for a chat with anyone who wants to drop in. I'm going to give you my thoughts on the game as well. But this show is all about you guys, so I'd love it if you can jump on. I'm going to post the link here as well. And I will also bring up all the comments as well. This is a bit more of an open forum style show. So, first and foremost, I'm going to start with the team news. When I found out Mason Holgate was playing, I thought, where's Mikalenko? Is he at Eurovision or something? Was he was he having the Eurovision after party? But no, he's got a small injury apparently, and so it was Mason Holgate in at left back. My first thought was, is there anyone else? Any kids? Anyone in the under 23s who's good enough? Have we not got any left backs? Thanks for dropping in, Chris. I will bring you in shortly if that's okay, mate. Just be patient. Holgate coming in at left back, and Peter can see you. Don't worry. I'm just giving you my reaction because then it inspire some comments as well. Holgate coming in left back. I thought, have we not got any kids? Have we got anyone else who could play there? I thought possibly McNeil could play left wing back. As it happened, as the first half went on, he did basically play left wing back and Holgate occupied the left centre back space. So you can see why eventually Holgate came off for Connor Cody and it made a lot more sense. But I'd question whether actually it was too big of a risk to play Mason Holgate at left back and whether we should have just done that from the start and gone with the 5. Go with the 5, put Holgate on the bench where he belongs or in the stands where he belongs, watching on, and brought in Connor Cody or anyone else to play centre half and put Dwight McNeil left wing back because he's got the tenacity to play there. He's got a lot about him. You can see he's got quality. So that was my thought on the team news. Bit surprised, question marks over it, but I had enough to give Sean Dyche the benefit of the doubt with that because obviously we'd just beaten Brighton 5-1. Probably didn't want to tamper too much with the formation and a winning team. That's fair enough. Hi, Wes, I can see you as well there. So we started as, I think, the first straight away Man City opened possession. They went straight back to the goalkeeper and that's that. They want to control the ball. They want to control possession. Everton didn't get drawn out too much. I don't think we pressed them quite high and in numbers. I think we sat off them quite a lot and Man City just passed it around us. They had a lot of time on the ball. Every time they received it, they had acres of space. It was only really when they got in very, very dangerous positions when we would engage to try and stop them. And I think that was just a common pattern of play. Everton did try and get a couple of counterattacks. I think when we did nick it back, I don't think it was quite as fluid as at Brighton. If not for Kyle Walker, though, I think Everton would have got a goal on the counter. I think Calvert-Lewin looked very, very strong. The interchange between him and Doucouré and James Garner, I think when we did win that ball back, the opportunity was there. But Kyle Walker's pace and recovery coming from right back to stop a couple of chances where I think Everton would have found the net had he not been there, or at least created a very strong opportunity. And that was Everton's threat, really, trying to wait for Man City to overcommit, lose the ball, and run up the other end and score. And Kyle Walker was very good defensively, and he stopped a couple of those opportunities. But Man City probed. I didn't think they really carved us open. I didn't really think they created an awful lot. We waited. We did, as I say, we didn't engage until they were quite close to our box. And I don't know whether that was so that we could draw more Man City players in and then catch them out, but it was quite passive. And they certainly targeted our left side, Mason Holgate, down the left. Holgate didn't know whether to go and engage. He didn't know whether to stay off. I think he relied on Dwight McNeil. Dwight McNeil was playing basically as a left back, left wing back, and left midfielder. He's exceptional, but I felt sorry for him. I've got to be honest. I felt sorry for him. Holgate it was like playing with 10 men. Anyway, he didn't know what to do. And Man City didn't create an awful lot. So I'm going to focus on the goals. The first goal, I I just think why are we not engaging with the player making the cross? Why we stood off them? I think you could try and stop the cross. Obviously, once it goes in, the centre back can't really. It's not much he can do. They're saying it's a world class goal. Obviously, I'm pissed off that it's happened. I've been the match. I thought the whole thing was like in slow motion, but people are saying it's a world class goal, and we just have to accept it. But the second goal is completely inexcusable. We boot it straight long down the pitch, lose it, then we don't press. We've switched off. Patterson, who I thought had a mixed game, I thought at times he did okay, and other times, to be fair, he grew into the game certainly. But earlier on, I think he struggled a little bit, and certainly with that goal, it just went in behind him. Phil Foden. The thing is, Phil Foden's very left-footed. Patterson's right-footed. Show him wide. You've got to match him for the pace. Keep him wide. And it's just very unfortunate. He got done. Couldn't recover. Then you're thinking you've got 3 centre-backs there. Because Dwight McNeil, by this point, was playing left wing-back. Why are you not in the right position? Mina's coming across. Stay centre. I mean, obviously, I think Mina has to come across there. But Tarkowski as well. Who are you marking? You mean you've both left Haaland. You passed the buck there. And then it's fallen to Holgate, who's kind of sucked across. And it's a bit of a weak challenge. It's a bit of a weak effort to actually try and stop the goal. He jumps. To be honest, I think if Calvert-Lewin was playing for Man City, he'd have done the same thing. I think Calvert-Lewin could have done that role. He was very good today, but it annoyed me. And Pickford's doing a star jump. Yes, people are saying he's got to commit one way or another, but I think if he holds his position, I think he saves it. He's improved at that. He stopped doing the star jumps and he actually holds his position and waits and reacts, but he doesn't there. It's a bit panicky. And you're thinking at this point, Mason Holgate didn't engage very well, didn't put him off. But also, I can't be too critical there because I think the other 2 centre-backs and the right-back could do better. Maybe the first goal, he's got to try and close the cross, but who's responsible for that? But it was a bit unbalanced. And at 2-0, you're thinking, this is it. They're going to just turn the screw. We're going to lose 4-5-0. All the goal difference, all the hard work against Brighton's going to be gone. And, we saw it out to half-time. They got clapped off. We had a corner, maybe. I think Tarkowski headed it. There was a couple of corners. We didn't really create anything from open play. I can't really recall a shot on target. Man City just defended well, controlled it. And then at half-time, you see Mopé warming up and you're thinking, oh my God, what's going on here? There's got 4 people waiting to come on. We will bring you all on. We've got Chris, Peter, Wes, and Ryan. We will come to all of you, so appreciate that. Just giving the synopsis of the game. Half-time, Mopé comes on for Calvert-Lewin. You're thinking he's definitely injured. There's no way, even precautionally at 2-0. We're at home. We've got 3 games left. We've got to try and get something. The game's not over yet. Don't give up. So I knew in my heart that he's got an injury there, but everyone's around me going, no, he's being rested. And I'm thinking, no, absolutely no chance. This is 60 minutes in, 3-0 down, 4-0 down. So he does that. Mopé comes on. It's like playing with 10 men. It's like having a kid from the under-11s running around doing nothing. I feel sorry for the guy. He obviously needs to move on and be in a better system for him, a slower league, maybe with a strike partner and get back to what he's apparently good at. But we huffed and puffed. And I think Man City, the first 10 minutes of that first half, probably could have turned us over. We didn't really look up for it. I think the focal point had gone. We didn't look like we had a plan, a strategy to actually score at that point. I wasn't sure what we were doing. And there you go. Mason Holgate gives the ball away. Brain dead. James Garner's got the tenacity and the speed to get back and try and bring him down. I think he probably had to do it in that instance. Gives away a free kick. The fans are getting wound by the fact that I've got another caller coming in as well at some point. Jeff. Oh, Jeff, of course, Jeff. You're going to have to wait your turn, though, Jeff. No, Jeff. He just put himself in. Jeff.
Sorry, mate.
Have some manners, son.
You just put out an urgent call because you wanted a caller, so I just like...
No, I will bring you in. I will bring you in a minute, okay?
Okay.
Just give it a synopsis.
Okay.
Bring him back. I did put an urgent call out, and then we got 4 people. Thanks, Jeff. I love you, man. I just want to really quickly get this out. The free kick. Everyone's getting wound up by the fact that Foden, who was fouled, was still on the pitch and didn't go off to come back on. But the law is, if you're fouled and the person receives a yellow card, I don't think you have to go off. So we all got fixated and distracted by that. I don't think the players got distracted by that, but the wall, not quite sure what was going on. Were we getting distracted by Phil Foden's position? It was a mess. I personally haven't seen it back, but I felt in slow motion that it was poor goalkeeping because it went in the center of the goal. There was a bit of an argument between Mina, Tarkowski, and Pickford as well. I don't know whether there was some frustration there that had gone in, but found it very annoying that it had gone in because I thought it was such a preventable opportunity, giving away the free kick because it was a stupid pass. And then the keeper felt like it's a bread and butter save. If his position's right, you can come in and speak to me and tell me whether this is wrong or not. But it was like he'd undone some of the hard work against Brighton. It's frustrating. And at that point, 3-0, you're thinking, oh my God, this is a disaster. But I appreciate Sean Dyche there going to 5, bringing Connor Cody on. And I think what that meant was because he knew Haaland doesn't press as well as some of the other City players, that we could try and build a bit better from the back, have a bit more possession, suck Man City in. We kept the ball really well. We passed it around a bit. There was no penetration. I didn't really feel like there was a plan to actually score a goal. It felt like damage limitation. Yes, we controlled it from that moment on. Connor Cody made a big difference, getting Holgate off. McNeil left wing back, who was faultless. And he's just focused, McNeil. Absolutely focused, and he was faultless. But it's annoying. If Calvert-Lewin's up top at that point and we start with the 5 at the back in that format and try and control it, and yes, we'll do a bit of pressing and do a bit more of a balanced game style, I think we'd have been okay. But it really wasn't. I think Man City stopped off, dropped off a little bit there. Oh my God, we've got a lot of people wanting to come in. I've got 7 people waiting to join. I'm going to hurry up and speed up and get through to Chris first. But what was I going to say? Huffed and puffed, didn't create an awful lot. I think we had a couple of set pieces. Mina headed down, headed in, basics. And Mope didn't do anything. I don't think he made good runs. He always coming short. It was infuriating. And that was it, really. City passed it around a bit, didn't create anything. I think they only had 4 chances in the whole match. Everton passed it around. We probed, but I think it was a lack of quality. I don't bemoan a lack of effort. I think they showed that at full time when the players got clapped off. It's kind of a bit of an apathetic. It's one of those type claps. It's frustrating because you could have secured survival potentially with this today. Whether the approach was wrong, whether the approach was right, whether we were too negative, whether we were too passive. The thing that annoys me was that we didn't really go for it and we still ended up losing 3-0. That annoys me. But I'm now going to open the forum up to you guys. And I appreciate everyone's patience. If you're watching, it means a lot. Loads of people watching. And I'm going to go first to Chris. If you're ready, Chris, you've got your camera on. You don't have to have cameras on, by the way, guys. Audio's fine. Camera's good. But we'll go to Chris first, one of our regulars. Give me the thumbs up if you're ready.
Hey.
Hello, Chris.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, thank you. What would you like to talk about?
So audio and visual's fine, right? Before I get going.
Yeah. That's fantastic, mate. Don't worry.
So the first thing you brought up, which I think is right, how we played against Man City today was largely what we did against Brighton. Now, with potentially losing DCL and maybe not having Mykolenko back, I don't know if we can play the same formation again and try it and go for that against Wolves, because we know that these teams that like to make us overcommit, press high, and expose our middle, they're going to keep doing that. But Wolves aren't the same as the Brighton and Man City style, and I thought we did that well until Gundogan's brilliant play or brilliant goal that basically said, okay, we can't even hold the match up now. So my concern is, like, I guess you're talking formation wise, do we actually go 5 at the back and have Tarkowski kind of playing on that left side and bring Cody back in? Or is that not going to work against a side like Wolves?
Well, Wolves like to get it wide, don't they? So this is one of the problems that we've got it. And I think the Mykolenko injury is minor. I think it's a small injury. You have to hope he'll be back for next week. I don't have an objection to putting McNeil at left wing back or left back even. I think he's tenacious and he's focused and committed and he's got a threat. But what you gain maybe by having a more of a natural left-footed player there, I think you're losing that key element of our actual attack. Mm-hmm. He was absolutely outstanding against Brighton. There's no reason why against Wolves, who are nowhere near as good as Man City, we can't do the same sort of thing, draw Wolves in and counter. But I don't really see what the other options are if we've got no left back.
Yeah, because what happens, like, it seems that he can drop back, and I think there was one or two plays where he was the last man and came back and broke a counterattack that they nearly scored on in the first 30 minutes. So clearly he has that ability to kind of be a left midfielder and then drop into left wing back, and he's been doing it. But I mean, does he sit in that spot that Holgate does? Because I don't think Tarkowski or Cody have the speed, but they have the positional awareness that Holgate didn't.
Holgate is like a duck out of
Right.
water.
I mean,
the problem is with Holgate.
Yeah.
He's hung out to dry there. He's not a left back. It's like what do you do for a job, if you don't mind me disclosing?
Geology. So
geology. Okay, so you like rocks. So if I asked you then to start looking at something completely unnatural to you,
right?
But you're a specialist in geology, and you can talk to me about granite and marble and everything under the sun.
Super too nice.
Yeah. You're going to get hung out to dry if I start asking you about wood. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I completely agree, but we don't have any options. We have a fullback problem. So what do? We have too many centre backs, so how do you compensate? And that's the thing I found with he plays really narrow in that really narrow 4. So he encourages, Dyche encourages their wingers to play wide, and then we shift our 4 across. So then what they did today on that second goal, other teams haven't been able to exploit it as well, but they're going to play that long diagonal and then test the fullback either side, and then quickly whip it back across the back post, looking for their other winger to come in. And Haaland scored this time. Granted, I don't think everyone claimed it was a great cross. It was solid, but Haaland is kind of a DCL in that way. He's got the range, he can hold up and expose Pickford trying to overcommit a bit like a penalty, like waiting for the guy to go. And he went.
So you saw it back. I've not seen it back. Should Pickford engage? Should he come out? Is it in the 6-yard box? That's the goalkeeper's reign, isn't it?
I felt like it was slightly too far out for him to commit. It would probably look like that Chelsea goal from a day ago where he overcommitted and left an open net. It felt like Holgate almost had it, but he didn't. But it's also Holgate against Haaland. What do you expect?
But it's that awareness, isn't it, from your goalkeeper to know when to come, to know when your defenders aren't going to get it. And I'd have to see it back.
I think it was too far away. But that's my thought. And the other thing is, you don't want to get beat at your near post. So he covered it, but he committed too early. That was my thought. But
oh, infuriating. I mean, people are saying in the comments it's unstoppable once Patterson got beat. I tend to agree. That it felt inevitable. I think that the problem for me, Chris, is that you're conceding another goal straight away. Whereas at that point,
that was worse. That part of it was worse. But in terms of exposing our structure, that goal was typical of Dyche ball on how we can get exposed, and a good team can do that.
The teams do it, draw you out, switch it, and Newcastle did it.
I don't think Wolves and Bournemouth have the same ability, so we can get away with that as long as we have someone at left back too.
Bournemouth will want to sit back and play on the counter-attack. And we want to sit back, probably suck them in and play on the counter-attack but I think we can play a more of a transitional style without having to be all-out counter-attack, because if Calvert-Lewin's fit, he gives you that option there.
Right. If he's fit, and that's really what's worried. We don't know how bad it is, but if you're playing it safe, I would have done it too. At 2-0, all we're going to do is take a risk and expose ourselves in transition, and that was not going to work. And we got lucky at 3, but they didn't really go into second. They hardly got out of second gear after 3-0. Didn't feel like it anyway.
Yeah, but we did actually get the ball and we controlled it at that point. I felt like Connor Cody meant we had an extra defender. We could build a bit more possession from the back. They didn't press as well. And so I felt it gave us a foothold in the game. We probably unlucky not to get 1 goal back at that point.
Yeah,
it would have made the scoreline.
Holgate could have gotten us up to 1-0 pretty easy. He just kind of didn't expect the chance.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect to finish. Chris, have you got anything you want to talk about? Anything else at this stage before I move on to one of the other calls?
I'll quickly, because we can talk tactics, I'm sure everyone else will. What was it like at the game? Did it feel like at 2-0 people were leaving, or were people staying to the end? Because it was the same scoreline as Newcastle in the end, but it did.
Yeah.
I felt we were in it, even if we didn't. We were just outclassed instead of we were shit.
Well, the Newcastle game for me was very different. The atmosphere was electric. The fans had become emotionally charged, built themselves up. you know,
I guess the
the
night match does that. So
yeah, they built themselves up crazy for it, thinking this is the time. Bear in mind, we'd lost to Fulham before. I didn't have a massive hope for us, but you've seen Newcastle. They're not amazing. I watched them against Leeds. Thought Leeds just stopped Newcastle doing anything. They got 2 local penalties and saved a penalty. They were lucky. They're jammy. They're jammy. But, you know, on the day, they played Newcastle, disrupted us because they played fouls. They spent time on the floor. They took ages. They were time wasting and then waited for the sucker punch. The fans became angry and frustrated by that point. So I think you saw a lot more leaving. But with this game, I think there was a more air of acceptance that we're not quite the same level as them. So at 2-0, there was the mad, I'm getting put on a seat, and a few people were leaving. But I'd say the vast majority of the stadium, overwhelming vast majority of the stadium was still there till about 86, 87 minutes when it really had become a bit too far away from us. And the atmosphere was nowhere near as flat as it had been against Fulham. The atmosphere largely this season, Chris, has been poor. But it was better today. And I think the fans can kind of accept the defeat. A lot of them, certainly in our group as well, and follow Everton, have accepted it because we did put maximum effort in, and they can't bemoan the lack of quality. I have a slightly different view in that, you know, we did have a lot of effort, but the goals we conceded, 2 basic goals there, avoidable. I'm slightly cheesed off. There's only 2 games left. It's a free hit. I don't know whether we made the most of it, Chris.
Right. I think Gundogan's first goal changes everything on the attitude. If that wasn't a brilliant goal out of nothing, I think we wouldn't have given them the same credit as them being the best club in the world, and maybe would have been a bit more bitter. But, you know, I'll take it. We need to same effort next week, and I think we've got every chance of 3 points. So,
Chris, thank you so much for coming on. Do you watch our show regularly, I'm assuming, or
you're
regular?
I do what I can.
Have we just found us?
If you guys do night coverage over there, it's midday for work for me, so I can't watch it. But weekends and I'll watch them back. So.
And is your favourite Chris Goodman by any chance? Your favourite pundit?
Goodman.
Chris Goodman.
Oh, jeez. We have to say Domino Chris to at least play it on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Domino Chris.
All right. Well, thank you.
Put you on the spot. Thank you, mate.
Right. See ya.
See you soon. Chris Goodman is Domino Chris's weird alias. Right. I'm gonna bring in Peter, who was next in line. I know you've all waiting. I really appreciate it. And this is a good opportunity to speak. I just very quickly go to the comments here. Brian saying, could we not play McNeil left back and Gray outside left? I mean, McNeil at left back, that's good, but you've got to present a really strong option left wing. Is Townsend fit? Because I think if he was fit like last season, he could really offer something. But this is the problem you've got. If you stick him at left back, have you got a problem? Oh, Peter's dropped out just about to be brought in. So that's slightly annoying. Peter, if you just dropped out accidentally, come back in, please, mate, and I'll bring you in after Wes. Stu saying Mina and Tarkowski should have been marking Holland and not Holgate. Yeah, I mean, the two of them, I don't know who they were marking. They just all got sucked across, didn't they? Thought maybe it was going on the floor. The ironic thing was in the build-up of the game, the bet was Mina and Haaland to get injured, to both get booked, and Holgate to get booked. I stuck a tenner on it at 60-1 and thought I was printing money. I thought Haaland and Mina were going to get booked, both of them, and Holgate was a shoe-in, but he got subbed before he could do it. And then the other thing we were saying was that someone had said Haaland is not good in the air. Well, that just completely went out the window very quickly. I think it was on the pre-match. It was inevitable. It might have been Basil saying to me, he was sat next to me going, yeah, Haaland is not that good in the air, or someone was. And I was like, well, he's going to score in the air then. Okay, let's go to Peter. Peter, how are you doing? You need to unmute. Hello? Are you there? Can anyone hear Peter? Or is it just... No, I can't hear him. Right, Peter, I'm sorry, mate. I can't hear you at all. Try and come back in, and I'll go to Wes.
All right,
Here
right.
he is. Here he is.
All right, mate. Oh,
Thanks for doing the pre-match. You enjoy it?
Yeah, I always enjoy coming on here, mate. You know that. Get a chance to talk about Everton. There's always sometimes not a good thing, but I don't know. Like today's game, I think we was kind of expecting it, weren't we? You know what I mean? We can't live with Man City. They're great at pinpointing teams' weaknesses, and
Mm.
our weakness was Mason Holgate today. Even though one of the goals came from Patterson's side, but I mean, people are going on about Holgate being defensively weak, and yeah, he is. But Tarkowski was just marking space for the second goal for Haaland's header. You know what I mean, he was just marking a space. There was, he should have been tight onto Haaland rather than just stood right next to bloody Jordan Pickford. But I think, second half, yeah, we had a little goal, but it was more like damage limitation, wasn't it?
Mm.
And I think Sean Dyche had that sort of incentive in his mind to keep the scoreline down, because the goal difference is a massive thing nowadays, isn't it? You know what I mean?
What annoyed me, Dave,
Yeah.
and I said it when I jumped on your pre-match show, I just came on very briefly and I said, I want to see Everton aggressive. I want to see them in their faces. I want to see us faking injuries. I want to see us taking the piss over throw-ins. I want to see us just disrupt that flow of Man City. Yeah, Man City didn't create anything really of note apart from in those goals. We didn't do those things just to wind them up, maybe to get under their skin. Kind of annoyed me how they always would receive the ball. They'd have 5 yards of space and they could knock it to the next person. We'd react. We wouldn't be proactive in the press. And I think against other teams, yeah, we've played a low block or a mid block, but we've still engaged with them. I felt like the only way we were recovering the ball today was when it was going out for a goal kick, a shot, a keeper, or it would get quite close to our box. There wasn't a lot of turn. I'd be interested to know the stats in terms of turns over of possessions. It was kind of a bit like, and certainly the last 30 minutes was just, we'll keep the ball and do nothing with it. And then you'll keep the ball and do nothing with it.
Mm. Yeah, I think Man City were comfortable at 3, weren't they? And we just wanted to keep the scoreline down. So it ends up being a nothing game, really, much of the second half.
And their fans were taking the piss as well, going, it's an easy game. And
well, it was.
Is this the Etihad? Yeah.
I mean, we'd be the same if the boot was on the other foot. It would have been. We probably would have been singing that down at Brighton last week. But the simple fact of the matter is, we move on from it. We've got bigger fish to fry now. Like Man City was, I said to me mate today, who's a cop-eyed, that, and I am ashamed of it. But I said to me mate today that, he said, I bet you're glad that you won against Brighton last week. I said, well, yeah, obviously, but at the same time, we didn't expect to win either of them games. To get the win against Brighton was a bonus. We was always pinpointing Wolves and Bournemouth to stay up.
Yeah,
that hasn't changed.
And I said a few weeks ago, or might not even that. Oh, fucking hell, Brighton are winning. That's not good. Because that means that Arsenal don't think they can win the league. They've got nothing to play for when they play Forest.
Yeah, they're still tearing Forest over. Are they playing Forest?
I think they're playing Forest, or
are they
playing Leicester? They're playing one of them, or Leeds.
Is it?
Yeah, I think Arsenal play one of them. Anyway, whatever.
Arsenal.
If you'd have offered me to be 1 point behind the bottom 3 with the last 2 games, knowing we're playing Brighton and Man City, I said I'd take that to be, because you're in with a chance then.
Yeah, 100%. Like I say, beating Brighton last week was an unexpected bonus that we didn't expect anything from that game. Or if you're truthfully honest, as an Evertonian, you didn't expect nothing out of Brighton, and you didn't expect nothing out of City.
Don't expect anything out of any of these games, to be honest. But
yeah, so we got 3 points against Brighton, and that gave us a little bit of buffer. But like I said earlier on the post-match stream, that let's look at the positive side of things. Is up till now we're still above the relegation zone after we're fully expecting the other lot to beat Leicester tomorrow. But barring that, like an unbelievable wonder game by Leicester, Liverpool probably going to go there because they're one of the informed teams in the league.
Yeah.
I think there's Man City and Liverpool unbeaten in the last 6 games or something. So
Villa.
No, Villa got beat last game, didn't he? Not the game just played, the game the week before that. Anyway, regardless, the fact of the matter is that Liverpool will be going there. We'll be expecting them to win, unless Leicester have some, suddenly become the Leicester that won the league overnight. So we could potentially go into this after this round of games still being above the relegation zone. Now, in the past, when we've had a positive result, the other teams around us have had a positive result. So we've dropped back into the bottom 3. On this occasion, we haven't. So we've got to take that as a positive. You know what I mean?
I'm going to bring in Peter in a minute because I think he's had some technical issues and give him that chance, Wes. It is a miracle, as they're saying in the comments and what you allude to. It's a miracle we're not being relegated. You can't be that bad for what has been now 38 games plus 36 games. Nearly 80 games or something of being crap and only being good in a few of them. And you can't expect to still be in the league. It's a miracle we're not down. The Brighton game showed that the players can play well, but obviously there's something not right, maybe with the mentality, the technical quality, or something that clearly got something there. And the attitude towards away performances has been a disaster for 2 years, but they've shown they can do it. That's the blueprint that we should have employed previously.
Yeah, but like I think you alluded to it, was that against Brighton, we waited for their mistakes rather than it usually being the opposite way round. We scored a lot of goals in that game from mistakes they made. You know what I mean? But it is what it is at the end of the day. We all thought at some point it probably boiled down to Bournemouth on the last game of the season. So
yeah. And as Dorco's saying, points are more valuable than games in hand. Thanks, Dave. I'm going to have to push you out just because we've got a few people waiting, but I appreciate you jumping on.
No worries, right. See you later, mate.
Smile. That's Wes, one of our regular contributors. I'm now going to bring in the next person. And Ryan has asked specifically to come on next if he can, maybe. But I feel sorry for Peter. I think Peter, I know you watch it, and I'm sure you're just watching us anyway. So if you don't mind holding off a little bit later, and I'll bring you on in 5 minutes. Ryan, hello, mate.
Oh, hi.
Hi, mate. What would you like to say?
Well, I feel sorry for Everton fans, how much I had to watch this,
Can you come closer to your phone or microphone, please?
Yes.
Can't really hear you very clearly.
Well, I feel sorry for Everton supporters, though. You had to cope with it, though. You should have lost that match for you, though. The keeper should have done better than that, though. It's absolutely terrible, in my opinion. That you should have done better, though. We need to win this match, though.
I can't really hear you very well, mate. Did you say that we should have done better today?
Absolutely.
Are you disappointed?
Oh, I am, though. Especially how much the beats are flying, though. So I know I've got no chance.
We've got no chance of staying up.
Well, hopefully we're doing that here, though.
Ryan, I can't hear you, mate. I am sorry. I know you've been watching the show a while, but I'm gonna have to drop you out because I can't really hear you very well.
Yes.
Look after yourself. All the best. Thanks, Ryan.
Yes.
I know the guy, Ryan Tune. I'm sure I've seen him comment many times. I feel sorry. I couldn't really hear him. I'm sure in the comments we couldn't hear him either. Do apologize on his behalf. I'm bringing Peter now. Please tell me this is working, Peter.
Is it working?
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. I was
Someone's
thinking about
saying
giving
that
it
was
a
me
miss,
on
to be
another.
honest.
Someone was saying that's me on another another device.
I failed to see that. I failed to see that. No, yeah. I was thinking about giving it a miss, to be honest with you, mate, because I've had a very, very bad week. But and that's just topped it off. But
Oh, sorry
no,
to
I
hear that.
mean, yeah, no, I mean, I was gonna come in and say, to be honest, I don't expect for 1 second for Everton to go out there and beat City. Like, that's asking a lot. But I mean, the first two goals. I mean, for Christ's sake, can somebody stop those crosses from coming in? I
Yeah.
mean, I get the. I mean, when I look at Erling Haaland scoring that second goal, I'm not going to blame the centre halves for not stopping him, because Erling Haaland is like the mountain from Game of Thrones. He's fucking massive, mate. Like, how are you going to stop that guy in the air? You'd be better off stopping the cross coming into him in the first place. The fact that no one tried,
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It's annoying that we didn't engage in the right moments. I think Holgate doesn't know whether to go out and stop the cross, or it's just a bit of a mess. And I think they targeted that side. I was frustrated we allowed that, because that passage of play, if you actually watch it back, it was quite passive defensively. Obviously, the ball goes in. You can't. They're saying it's a world-class goal, and you can't really stop it, but you can stop it in the build-up. So it's infuriating.
Yeah,
And
I
then
mean,
that one, Patterson getting done. That's really annoying. And then once he's past him, you can't really stop the cross, but you can defend it better. And obviously, the third one is not a cross, but it's basic defending.
I didn't even see it, mate. As soon as the first half ended, I was like, right, that's it. I'm not watching, because I just know it's going to get worse. But the one thing I couldn't quite figure out, and I'm not saying, oh, what's Dyche doing or whatever. I mean, in all
Yeah.
fairness, I mean, he's what's he going to do against City? But what I couldn't quite understand is, why are there two goalkeepers on the bench? That doesn't make
You
sense
might
to
as
me.
well have put Andros Townsend on the bench and at least got him warming up with the squad for a match again, instead of
Yeah,
two
I mean,
keepers.
the two keepers thing really gets me. I mean, why do you need two goalkeepers? And I mean, you've got a couple of young players on the bench. And by the way, since you mentioned it earlier, the left back situation. The weird thing is, we had Ruben Vinagre, or whatever his name is, on loan not too long ago, and we had, not too long ago, we also had Niels and Cuckoo in our academy. I mean, why have we gone? Why have we gone from having them available if we need backup left backs to having absolutely no one? But
Yeah.
we'll just throw a centre half in there who fucking gets sent off all the time.
Yeah, I mean, Holgate should have been moved on 2 years ago, at least. Same with Michael Keane. I want to see them both go in the summer, move on, wish them all the best. But persisting with the
Yeah.
same players is insanity. The move to bring in
Yeah.
Connor Cody worked. It was too little too late, of course. The left back situation, have we not got an under 23s left back who could have maybe gone on the bench for emergencies? But I suppose McNeil has done an adequate job, and I think he could play there comfortably moving forward. But again, you're taking away arguably your best player and sticking him at left back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I
You've
mean,
gone from Baines, Luka Dean, and Nkunku to Mason Holgate and no one else. And Mikalenko, who,
yeah, and
even when he's
Anthony
fully fit,
Robinson as
isn't
well.
that good. Yeah, we
Yeah,
had
Anthony Robinson as well. Don't
kidding
forget
me.
about him.
You're kidding me. I mean, Robinson, Dean, and Baines all at the same time. I mean, Robinson would be starting week in, week out for us, flying up and down that left wing. Fans would absolutely love him.
Yeah. Yeah,
But he
I
went
mean,
to
it's
Wigan, didn't
ironic
he? He
that
went
one
to
of our
Wigan and
former
then someone
managers
bought him.
gets him as well. I mean, I was saying this. Yeah. I mean, I was saying to Chris not too long ago, actually, that it's weird that Marco Silva hasn't, because, like, the weird thing is, the past couple of years, recruitment's been awful at Everton. But oddly enough, Marco Silva was the only one who ever actually did any good recruitment. I mean, he brought in Richarlison. He brought in Andre Gomez prior to his injury, when he was actually playing well. He brought in Kurt Zuma on loan before he was on the red flagged by the RSPCA. And he also brought in Luca Dean. So Marco Silva was doing well with recruitment. He just got let down by the players he was left with, like Schneider and Tom Davis and players like that. Even Calvert-Lewin to an extent let him down because he wasn't scoring enough goals. And Gylfi Sigurdsson was the biggest letdown because he had like 13 goals, about 10 assists in like the season prior. Season later, he just falls off a cliff, doesn't do anything, and then he's getting arrested.
To be honest with you, the team that Marco Silva had in the season he finished 8th, it should have finished higher. The players he had, I think we won against Chelsea at home, United at home, and maybe one Arsenal at home in succession. But on the whole, I thought we could have done a lot better with the squad he had, with the players he had. And he should have got more out of Calvert-Lewin. You could argue we were a striker away. And if we'd have had the Calvert-Lewin under Ancelotti and DeMarco Silva, then we would have finished higher. But yeah, I think we're stomping over all ground there, Peter, to be honest with you, mate.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I want to say is I saw a comment that was left there in the comments. I want to respond to the Blues. He says that we couldn't have stopped the crosses because they overloaded. The response I've got to that is, well, Dwight McNeil's there. Mason Holgate, who's supposed to be a fullback, is there. Someone should be pressing him. It's not rocket science. Someone just go out there and close the fucking guy down, and then the cross doesn't come in.
Communication as well. It's communication and leadership, and it's infuriating, Peter. It really is. I mean, the guys did the post-match reaction. It felt quite the air of acceptance, and they were. I personally think this was a big missed opportunity to at least show a little bit more fight and character in terms of the forward play. And I just don't think that we were as effective as we were against Brighton at stopping the key moments. I mean, it might be overly critical, but I don't know. I just feel like to lose anyway, and do it in that manner, with 3 silly goals, it is annoying. But, they're a world-class team, Peter, and they're probably the best in Europe. So I think we just have to accept it. And we probably would have lost anyway, let's be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Right, Pete, I'm going to move on.
I'm looking at it and thinking, how do you beat them, yeah? I'm thinking, how do you beat them? I mean, it's a weird one because they are a tough side to take on. There's not many teams that do beat them these days, but we have got Wolves, we have got Bournemouth. Maybe we can get results against them, but if we turn up anything like
we've got 2 winnable games,
shit, I think we're probably going to end up losing.
If Leicester lose tomorrow, which I suspect they will, it's in our hands again. Ifs and buts, of course. We'd have taken this position if they lose tomorrow. Absolutely 32 points with 2 games left, 2 winnable games. I think 3 points potentially will be enough because the goal difference wasn't that bad. I think 4 points keeps you safe. I think we can get it, but we've got to build that momentum back up, and that starts with Wolves. Calvert-Lewin, by the way, Sean Dyche is saying that hopefully he'll be okay. He said he was touch and go whether he wanted to carry on. He made a call, took it out of his hands, and hopefully he's going to be ready in a couple of days. Peter, thank you very much. I'm going to move on now. I'll speak to you next time.
Yeah, no worries. See ya.
Thank you, mate. If you want to join the stream, there is space now. I've got one more person coming on, and then there'll be space for someone else, whether that's Jeff or John who tried to come in before. You can click the link there. You don't have to type it out, unfortunately. StreamYard.com/WEAPTC 8IWH. I do apologize that it is like a Wi-Fi password. Perhaps next time I can make like a tiny URL link and do it like that, make it easier for people to remember. Stephen Collins is saying if we can get 3 points against Wolves or Bournemouth, should be enough to keep us up. We were never going to win this one today. But they're not unbeatable, Steve. Man City haven't won every game this season. Certainly not away from home as well. Nottingham Forest drew with them at home. Maybe that was a freak result. It's difficult because if you press Man City, they keep the ball so well. If you drop off them, they've got the various threats. They can shoot from outside the box. They've got the aerial threat and size of Haaland, the movement. It's just difficult. It's the game you don't want to play. But as I say, nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. Right. Everton in the dock, Les. How are you doing, mate?
Can you hear me, kidder?
Yeah, can hear you fine. What would you like to talk about, pal? I can hear him absolutely fine. And he's just dropped straight out the stream. So if anyone wants to come in, you'll be coming straight on. If anyone wants to come on, then I'll bring it up onto the screen again. That's annoying. I have two people with technical difficulties, but the second guy, Les, I think his name is, he didn't have any technical difficulties, but he just dropped out. That's annoying. Posted the link there. Someone come on. 60 people watching. Ian says, I still think Everton have the easiest last two fixtures. I can't see Everton going, although Leeds are looking like they have more spirit now. Yes, definitely. And I think West Ham have got a big part to play. Your team, Ian. Are they motivated? They got an eye on the Europa Conference League. Ironically, the Premier League position prize money is more valuable than the Europa Conference League. And to be honest, it's got no. I know you want to win it, but there's zero prestige, and no one outside of the teams in it cares. Right, Jeff.
Hello, Sunshine.
Hi, Jeff.
How
are you doing? You've not had a chance to talk about this game, so I'm assuming you've got a fair bit to say. I know you were pleased with the effort of the players, and there was an acceptance there of this. Still positive, and hopefully tomorrow night, if Liverpool can do us a favour, we can go into the last two games with a very good chance.
Yeah. I think, right, after a game, everyone is always emotional and they always massively overreact one way or another. This is just the Everton way. So I'm seeing Pickford getting absolutely slaughtered on Twitter. He's been our player of the season. Ridiculous. Yeah. I'm seeing Holgate getting absolutely slaughtered because he was forced to play as a left back, and he's not a left back, and he didn't do very well against a world-class team. Okay, what did anyone expect him to be? Yeah. Suddenly turn into Leighton Baines. He's not. He's crap. That's why he doesn't play very often, and he only played because he had an injury. We weren't attacking enough. We hit the bar. We had a couple of other good chances. We were playing probably, in my opinion, the best football side in world football. Not just in Britain or in Europe, in the world. They're the best side in the world. It's simple as that.
I've heard Everton Chile are quite good.
Yeah. They've got the best manager probably in the game at the moment. They've got a ridiculous deep bench of quality players. There is not one single player from their squad who wouldn't walk into our team on any given Sunday. Absolutely, for a fact. They would all walk into our side, all of them. So people sitting here criticising and going mental and kicking off because we just got beat by the best side in world football. We're fucking Everton Football Club. We're in the relegation battle. And we're in the relegation battle for a reason, and the reason isn't
what
the
is
fact that...
Say it.
Yeah.
Say it.
Our owner is an idiot.
Say it. No,
our owner is an idiot.
We're just not very good at football.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my tagline. We're not good enough. That's it. It's as simple as that.
No. Say it exactly how you would normally say it.
We're not very good at football. No,
listen, Jeff, I've not actually seen anyone really overreacting and becoming that wound up.
I've seen loads of it. Some just ridiculous shouts on Twitter and just...
Yeah, I need to have a look.
I've heard some really silly comments.
It's just annoying. I'd say
here's
for
the
this.
way I look at it.
Go on.
Big picture, right? Big picture. You've got to look at big picture. I thought we were down 2 weeks ago. Genuinely. I thought we were going to get absolutely slaughtered by Brighton, who are currently beating Arsenal. I thought we were going to get slaughtered by Man City because they're both miles better than us. And we got 3 points from one of those 2 games. If you'd have offered me 3 points from those 2 games, I would have literally took your whole arm off. I would have, because it's made a huge difference to us now, because I'm still saying it's in our own hands. Yes, I know, technically speaking, it isn't, because Leicester could suddenly win 3 games in a row, which, if you've seen them play recently, that's just nonsense. Because
Look, we're just cynical. That's why we expect
they've
Leicester
just
to
been
win all 3
dreadful.
games.
So they're not going to win all 3 games. So if we win our remaining 2 games, we're fine. So that's in our own hands, in my opinion. It was wise taking off DCL. From what I've heard, it was a slight strain, but he was happy to stay on. So it's obviously not something serious. So he'll be back next week. Mykolenko, again, it's a slight little niggle. He should be back next week as well. And that put those 2 players back in the side and put us against a team that aren't the quality of Man City. And I think we've got a great chance. Like, especially against, we're playing 2 teams that are on the beach. They're both safe. They're both mid-table. Neither of them have got anything to really play for. We have. So if DCL is fit, as I think he will be, if Mykolenko is back next week, as I think he will be, we can put out what is probably our best first choice 11 at the moment. And we've got every chance of winning at least one of those 2 games and getting a draw in the other. And that's probably enough.
There's a lot of ifs and buts. I mean, we're talking about Leicester not doing anything tomorrow, but in terms of the injury thing, the problem with Everton at the moment is you have 1 injury, and the players you're bringing in, apart from possibly at centre back overall, with the options you've got overall, in any position, you have an injury, and the replacements are pretty poor. Certainly in the fullback areas, we're really thin, and that's the thing. If you bring in, like we did today, you've got an injury at left back to your actual left back. You get hung out to dry at this level.
I can't change reality, and suddenly like have a brilliant squad of players that are all really good at football, because like we are what we are, and we are where we are because of the decisions made by the muppet who owns our club, the idiots who call themselves a board, and the previous manager who should have been sacked before the World Cup because he was utterly clueless. Mr. Lampard, the worst, in my opinion, the worst manager we've had. Probably, you could argue that like Mike Walker would be the only other person in the debate. I think even Benitez is above Frank Lampard in my estimation of former Everton managers, and that's terrible. How badly I rate him.
Because he didn't drag us.
Clueless. Utterly clueless. So,
what did you think of Everton's last 30 minutes today when we were keeping the ball and we looked like we had control? You know, is it a lack of the focal point there that maybe stopped us from getting a goal or 2 back?
No,
I felt we controlled it there.
It's the fact that, like, yeah, they dropped off in terms of their ambition, but they're still a world-class football side. They put in some good tackles. They still defended really well.
Yeah.
They've still got a good keeper. They've still got good centre-backs, good full-backs. You know, we tried, and you know, we gave a decent effort, and we were unlucky not to score. We hit the post. We had a couple of chances where we could have scored.
Was there more in the tank than that, Jeff, overall, though? Could we have done a little bit more?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think we could have shown a little bit more quality?
No, I don't. Because we haven't got a little bit more quality. That's the whole point. Is if we were playing any team other than Man City today,
yeah, we'd have gone for it.
Because we have to. Would we have struggled as much as we did? No. Would we have conceded some of the goals we did? No, because those goals were world class. I mean, absolutely.
Tell me about the third goal, Jeff. Tell me about the third goal. I've not seen it back. I'm sat behind the goal in the park end. For me, I thought the keeper should save it. Am I wrong?
I don't even care. I genuinely don't care. No, I genuinely don't care. The game was over. It was done. Like, am I going to sit here and nitpick our player of the season? And anyone who says he's not our player of the season, I don't know what game you're watching, because Jordan Pickford has been our only consistently good performer for the entire season. In fact, for the last 2 years, he's been the standout player for Everton Football Club. He's literally the reason we didn't go down last year. The game against Chelsea in particular was just some of the best goalkeeping I've seen in since Big Nev. It was, some of the saves were just ridiculous, and he made saves today. So could he have saved the one today? I don't know. Do we even care? We were 2-0 down. We weren't getting back into it. It didn't make a difference to the game. And next week he will be one of our best players again. So we can nitpick and rake Coles over, but I'm literally not having this kind of let's rip the players to bits again because we didn't win a game of football. They're not good enough. That's not the players' fault. That's the owner's fault. That's the club's fault. That's the people in charge who have just made bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. But Sean Dyche, don't always agree with all of his decisions, but he's managed to get something out of these players that we didn't have before, and he's given us a chance to survive. We've picked up some really important results, and if we can get something from the next 2 games, 4 points probably, we'll survive.
Yeah,
and then we need to make changes in the summer. But yeah, realistically, today was a bridge too far for us. We the best team I've seen play football in my lifetime overall in terms of club football is the Barcelona side with Messi and Puyol and all of those. They're the best side I've seen in terms of just a whole side of just brilliance. And this Man City team, to me, are as close to that level as I've seen since that team.
Yeah,
So,
it annoys me because they self-sponsored the stadium with a huge unrealistic fee. I believe the stadium sponsorship was ludicrous at the time because they were nowhere near able to justify it, and they built themselves off that money and whatnot. And so it's built on corruption.
Yeah, totally.
Horrible. Jeff, I'm going to say goodbye because I'm very quickly going to go to the last 2 people, and I don't feel very well again at all. It's just starting to hit me again. I'm starting to feel really a bit rough. So I want to wrap things up very shortly, mate.
No worries.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, everyone, for joining. Nice one. Catch you later, mate.
Thanks, Jeff. And that's why Jeff is on the show as one of our main men. He's very good. Right. Let's try for Les again, and then very quickly Wes to wrap things up. Hello.
Can you hear me, kidder?
Yeah, can hear you fine. What would you like to talk about, pal?
Simply that, realistically, we all knew the situation. We knew the situation that the last 2 games were the most important, and the last 2 games were going to be the most winnable. So the very idea that we got beat today, in my opinion, by the Harlem Globetrotters, because that's what they are. They're like that basketball team from the 70s that nobody could win. And they had a star player called Meadowlark Lemon, who basically was Jack Grealish on steroids. Anyway, I thought we may have possibly got a draw today, but we didn't. And the only thing I would say about you mentioning the 3rd goal to Jeff is that means another one in the goal deficit margin. And the goal deficit margin is a bit scary. But I do honestly believe that Liverpool will absolutely tear them apart tomorrow. I honestly believe that we're talking 5, 6, 7, which then will go in our favour, obviously. So we're left with the situation of DCL today, haven't pulled the groin. Now we're worrying about that upon the many, many other things that we're all upside down about. We're going to go to the last day. God knows what the atmosphere is going to be like. God knows what it is, what we're going to need. And we're going to need everyone to pull together. The team today, I'm afraid Holgate was pitiful. And when the camera was on him, when he was substituted. He looked devastated. Whether he was devastated because he has also got a pull of an injury, or he felt that he let everyone down with his performance, I don't know. But the very idea that DCL, in that first 30, 35 minutes, all we were doing was just controlling the idea that Man City do not rip us apart constantly. But again, they are the best. They will have come from the Bernabeu to Everton today and not have been inhibited in any way. I thought Pep may have changed it a bit, but he didn't. He left only De Bruyne out, who is, of course, one of their star men and one of the star men of football. So what I'm on to say is I'm not really disappointed about today. You've got to be realistic and say that they're in, the last four, the two Italian clubs, Madrid and them, that proved you don't need to go anywhere else or see anything else. And I can't wait for the game in the midweek. But just getting back to us finally, Ryan, which you're a good guy, you know. I can smell good guys. You are a good guy, and I like your style. I like the way you do this phone in, because you're very jovial and easy to talk to. So you are an entertainer. You do say that, but I'd love to know are you a magician by chance?
No, I'm not a magician.
Because I was going to say, can you go to the last game? Because I know you're a season ticket holder. Can you go to the last game and the magician set up with a top hat and all that like?
Listen,
the hat.
If on the last day of the season we need a certain result and we need all the electrics or something safety to happen, then we need someone to disrupt it and get the game delayed so we can relate to the team that we only need a draw.
One last point. I do believe that your channel is better than Toffee TV, but I do like Ped and his aftermatch Gladys Street reaction. He focused on the idea that the amount of security at Everton today was kind of ridiculous and uncalled for. And he is suggesting that's a dry run for the last game, that it will be chock-a-block, which is more than usual. And that's a little bit of a concern for me. And I'm not very happy with the idea of Bill Kenwright staying away in them seats that should be bums sitting in it, because they are the club. They dictate. Jeff was going on then about all the frailties. We know all the frailties. We have to stay up. God, I hope we stay up, and we're going to rebuild. We will rebuild, and that is my prayer. And if we get a point at Wolves, I do believe we'll do this, the Great Escape, for maybe the fourth time, is it? But I was there at Wimbledon. I thought we were dead and buried at half time. This one, it seems a little bit scarier. That's all I've got to say, right? Thank you for listening. I finally got on. I'm chuffed. You've made me day, even though we got beat. You've made my day, and I would love to speak to you again sometime soon.
Yes, absolutely. Very good speaker. Just on the security issue, even if we stay up, I think the security is there to try and protect everyone there. And if we go down, I can imagine, let's be honest, there's going to be some angry people, furious people. The fact that we were even in this position,
correct,
is not like the 90s. We've had money, we've bought badly, correct. We've got a squad full of international players, 1 to 11, and on the bench as well. So it is a disgrace we're even contemplating this in May with 32 points. It's an absolute horror show.
Exactly right.
And the security issue, I haven't got an awful lot to say on it, but it was quite shocking to see.
Sorry. Yeah.
It's quite shocking to see.
Pet, somebody has also mentioned the very idea that if there's any kind of malarkey on the last day, even if we were to stay up, could the pitch invasion get us into trouble regarding a docking of points? This nightmare of ours is never ending. We are all suffering. We are all dead on our knees, and I'm positive it'll go to the last game. But I'm loving the idea that Liverpool have still got a chance, maybe, of creeping in, and that'll drive them tomorrow. Honestly, Leicester will not win. Leicester will not win. Liverpool will not let us down.
I hope I'm not replaying that. Leicester will not win. Leicester will not win tomorrow, and I hope you're right. Listen, Les, thank you so much for coming on. I think everything you said was very engaging and very interesting, and I'm sure everyone who's listening will agree. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
See you on the next
Thank
one.
you much.
Thank you. Really good. Very, very good speaker. That's Les from Everton in the Dock. I think he spoke very well, very intelligently, and made a lot of good points. I'm going to wrap things up in a moment. I'm just going to go to Dave. I think he's got something else he wants to say.
Yeah, as Brighton have just gone 2-0 up.
Oh,
just pinpointing that thing about the security. I don't think it's got anything to do with this last game thing that people seem to be throwing around. I think this is down to the incident yesterday with Eddie Howe. I think the security was beefed up because he was confronted by a fan and pushed. So I don't think that's got anything to do with the last game of the season.
but why would you need
Although-
like 75 people? I mean, they were even just in the park end, like just stood there, just randomly, or all throughout the ground apparently. And then at the full-time whistle, it was like a big square quadrant. Have you seen
There's
the
nobody
pictures?
there. No, but there's nobody there to sort of vent at. So I don't know why they
Mate,
have
you need
that.
to see the pictures. It was like it felt like 100 people, and it was like surrounded in a big square around the dugout. Like, you need to go and have a look at it. It was very, very odd.
Yeah.
Just Arsenal.
Just a quick one. That I forgot to mention early on. When Garner got booked for that foul on Foden, right? And obviously got the free kick and he scored from it. Mopé got one very, very similar to that later on, and he was complaining to the linesman he was fouled. It was very, very similar tackle. Yeah, it was waved away. Where's the consistency? You know what I mean? Like Garner obviously barged into the back of Foden, and then Foden hit the floor and hurt his knee. And Mopé got the same treatment, but not as aggressive. You know what I mean? But there was no foul given. So that was the only thing I've really come on for. I just think that's
Can't really
that's the
bemoan the
decision.
ref overall, though. I didn't think he did anything.
No, I thought he'd done all right, but you know, I just think that
we didn't get near them to make a tackle. So
yeah, but like I say,
why.
I think things like that. I mean, it was a foul. It was a foul Garner made on Foden, 100%. But it was also a foul on Mopé, and these are the decisions that the bigger teams get, I suppose. You know what I mean? That's all I'm trying to reiterate. Refs tend to favour the bigger teams only. Let's be honest.
And that's it. I mean, I just want to ask you, if Arsenal do lose this, which is looking likely against a team that we battered 5-1 last week, and we lost 4-1. We lost 4-0 away to Arsenal, who were losing 2-0 to Brighton, who we beat 5-1 away from home, who we lost 4-1 away. The Premier League is just utter bollocks.
It's madness.
Do Man City officially win the league if this finishes 2-0?
I think Man City got. I think their game in hand is Brighton, Man City, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit annoying. If we'd have won today or got a draw, it gives Arsenal something really to fight for against Forest. But actually, I don't think Forest are the one we're targeting. I think it's got to be Leicester and Leeds. And Leeds look resurgent. I think they could beat Spurs, and I think they'll get a point against West Ham. I think they'll get 4 points and end up on 34, is it?
Yeah, all we've got to do is match their results.
32.
Match their results, because they've got Arsenal. Who's got Arsenal? Forest.
Yeah, but I think
Well,
Forest will stay up. Forest will stay up.
They've got a tough last couple of games though. But yeah, I mean, Leeds.
If Arsenal lose at Forest, Man City win the league. That's what Chris says.
As bad as Newcastle were yesterday, Leeds were as good, I suppose. You know what I mean? They made mistakes.
Forest are down. We could finish above Forest on goal difference, potentially.
Yeah.
I do suspect they will lose to Arsenal.
I mean, but
I just want this season over with, to be honest, Dave. It's making everyone ill.
All the teams down there now need 2 wins. That's the the long and short of it is both 3 teams need 2 wins. We've got the easier running than the other 2 teams. Easier running than Leicester, and we've got an easier running than Leeds. Now, whether we can get 6 points from our 2 games is a different matter. But I don't think they're going to get. Yeah, I don't think they're going to get 6 points from their 2 games either.
If we can't beat Bournemouth, we probably deserve to get relegated. Our home form's been shocking. That season ticket's been a big waste of money.
Sam Allardyce, you know, the incentive is only there for him to keep them in the Premier League. It's not the incentive isn't there for the players, is it? They might be on some sort of bonus or something, but he's going to get 3 million for possibly six games or something, 4 games. You know, if he keeps them in the league. And it's like he must be absolutely bathing in gravy.
Spend the money on the players, and you don't end up having to use it to pay the manager a fee. Dave, I'm going to wrap things up. I feel tired. I came back from Harrogate, as I said before. I didn't get until nearly 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I got woken up like 9:45. So I feel like I need to go to sleep. Oh no, it's
Who's
that
coming on?
Bellend from America.
Oh no.
Unless
Is he
he's taking
coming on?
He can't sustain me any longer. It's like he sensed the migraine in my.
Is this the show where you call in and talk to people? I'm calling to speak with Amy. Is she available?
We can't understand you.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I figured as you were wrapping things up, I'd jump on because Ryan, it's just rare to see you these days, man. I would love to actually get to speak to you. I just want my moment. That's all. I'm not on this channel enough. I don't do enough watch-alongs. No, I'm making jokes. Listen, I thought this was really good. That's really all I jumped on to say. I thought the calls were good. You experienced a lot more positivity from the chat than I did on the post-match reaction. I think it really does come down to just people having a bit of a breath and a bit of, I don't know, maybe an hour to sit back and realize what it was. Listen, we
Chris,
just played.
To be honest, I wanted a real moaner to come on. I wanted someone to come on and say, we had 3 games left.
Right.
And it was a big opportunity to get something today. We gave them soft goals, and we didn't lay a glove on them. We didn't have anyone like that. We had people who were very reasoned, made very good points. I believe Chris, our first caller, was talking about a left-back situation.
How dare people be rational and reasonable? We hate that.
No, I don't like that. I like someone to come on and make a show of themselves.
Yeah, that's fair. That's how you get views and ratings. And all jokes aside, that is how people like us being up in arms. They want to see us be angry. I understand that. But the fact of the matter is, I can't believe I'm going to say this. It's now, after last week, a side that you can have a little bit of belief in, right? A little bit.
I've got more belief, yeah. I've got more belief, but
that might be a penalty. It's not been given. There's 8 minutes of added time in this game, by the way. Penalty shout for Arsenal. But quite frankly, Brighton have looked the better side. So, I don't know. Sorry, I'm not doing a watch along, but just saying that if anyone is watching at home. No, honestly, I'm not that bothered by today. What did we again, we all went into this expecting this. And so now that it's actually happened, I think it's just a little bit worrisome because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow and is now, for the time being, not in our hands, which is a frightening thing.
Yeah. Ask me again tomorrow night if Leicester lose. I think I'll say I would have snapped your hand off based on the poor performances at Newcastle and Fulham and the tepid draws away from home from winning positions against poor teams. Forest are not good. Chelsea are not good. They're not good. I would have snapped your hand off to be in a shout of, okay, if it's in our hands, we play Wolves and Bournemouth. It's just, the reason I got so wound up the post-match today, yes, I accept it. It's just annoying. It's just sick and tired of watching teams come to Goodison and just win. And we're just a bit of a laughing stock. And it's not really why I made this channel. It's just very depressing. And at some point, the penny's got to drop with us. We've got to rebuild. And I do think that's the Bramley-Moore. But we can't keep saying, well, we'll be fine when we get to Bramley-Moore. I'm not doing another year of this.
The thing that prior to the Brighton game, the 3-0. Prior to the 3-0 that is to Brighton.
Gotta laugh. Hate everyone. I hate you all. I hate everyone. Not you guys. I hate all the teams. I hate everyone because everyone beats
prior to the Brighton game, the statistics and the percentages and whatnot, we had a 64% chance of being relegated. Now we're on a 26% chance of being relegated. So
if we beat Wolves next week,
we're safe.
We're safe, aren't we? And it's to lose.
Well, if we beat Wolves, well, provided Leicester lose tomorrow, we beat Wolves, Leicester lose next week at Newcastle, Leeds lose at West Ham, then we're safe. But Leeds losing at West Ham certainly not a guarantee. Even though Leeds have not looked great, they did find a win at Wolves. Just proving that they can win. It doesn't have to be home or away, whatever the case. West Ham have absolutely nothing to play for because I think that they might actually be officially safe now with the results that have come in today. I'd have to check the math on that. It'd be close. Hopefully West Ham aren't safe at that point because then they'll have a little bit of something to play for. But
I think West Ham is safe. I think West Ham are on 37 points.
Yeah, but I think that they can still technically. Hang on, let me pull the table up. See, so everybody can see what I'm looking at. Let me get it up here.
We need a way of zooming this in, by the way. A few people.
Yeah, I wish I had. Yeah, I'm not. Despite what you think, I'm not a technological person.
Have you got a Control and Plus button?
I don't know what that means.
If you press Command, Control, Option, and Plus, you should be able to zoom in on your browser.
Oh, look at this! Look at me learning things. How about that?
Can you
Okay,
do
so
that
here's
again?
where we are. Now, that's enough. Come on, you don't want to blind people.
No. Some people are literally on their phone.
All right, fair enough. Here's West Ham are on 37 points. Yes, not technically safe because, well, okay. I mean, they might as well be safe because let's just say they lose their last two. Leeds United win their last two. They would have to make up 11 goals on West Ham, which quite frankly just will not happen. So West Ham can for sure ensure their safety with a draw or a win next week at home to Leeds United. As I mentioned, Leicester are home to Liverpool and then go away to Newcastle before.
The only drawback on that is the fact that if West Ham beat AZ, they're in the final of the Europa Conference League. So they're going to be putting out.
But they're not safe, West Ham, technically.
They pretty much are on 37 points.
For all intents and purposes,
minus 14. With a minus 14 goal difference, they're pretty much safe. But they're going to start resting players for the cup final. If they beat AZ on Thursday, they'll start resting players. That's the only thing we need to worry about. It's a big worry.
Well, West Ham's last two games are against Leeds and Leicester. So
he rested players today for the AZ game on Thursday.
Typical, isn't it? It's absolutely typical. But then you could say, yeah, but Wolves and Bournemouth have got nothing to play for either. If West Ham have got nothing to play for.
True, that's the thing. If Leicester lose tomorrow, it is in our hands again. We have.
I think you need to sneeze on someone, Chris, with that cough of yours. Sneeze, give someone some horrible disease, come over to the UK, come to Liverpool, spread it around all the players, and get the games called off, and have the season ended now.
Okay. Go to Wolves and Bournemouth, just sneak into the changing room.
If there's ever been any incentive, incentive to get.
Mabsy always says he wants to drop a bomb on Anfield.
God, we probably shouldn't be saying that. No, listen, it's going to come down to us because we can't depend on the likes of West Ham to show up in these games because they have absolutely nothing to play for. They proved that, like you said today, yesterday, whenever they played, whatever the case was. Yeah.
Got beat 2-0 by Brentford.
Oh, that's right. They had a goal chucked off the offside.
But I didn't see any of the scores.
I forgot that was even today. I was so focused on Everton. But yeah, it was 2-0. I saw West Ham scored. It got called off for offside. And it ended 2-0. But the point being, like, West Ham are probably going to pack it in. Hopefully they can show up next week. I mean, you'd like to think there's a little bit of pride in just playing football anyway. Plus, I mean, like, Leeds still aren't that good of a side. I'm saying that they have won that game, so they have the capability. That doesn't mean they'll put it together all on the pitch. Sinisterra is obviously out for the season. They still have no Tyler Adams. Patrick Bamford came off yesterday after he missed a penalty. Again, Leeds still aren't that good, so it's no guarantee they'll beat West Ham. But I'm sure we'll be previewing much of that midweek.
Newcastle let us down so bad.
They got lucky. They got lucky against Newcastle.
Well, you say that, Wes, but Newcastle got lucky as well. They got 2 penalties.
Yeah, but Newcastle, but they were penalties. None of the penalties that were given were touch and go.
But they didn't create anything against Leeds.
No, Newcastle were not very good yesterday. They were nowhere near as good as the Newcastle that came to Goodison. You know what I mean? So when they played Leeds yesterday, Leeds got that deflected goal off Trippier's head. The lad just hit it and hit it on target, and they got deflected.
Yeah, I suppose.
Apart from that, he didn't really create a lot. Leads. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of luck in both the goals.
Yeah,
in all the goals, then you could say.
In all the goals, yeah, but like I say, there was no sort of query about any of the penalties. They were all penalties.
Have you heard about the new competition that's coming in next season? Below the Europa Conference League?
Oh, God, no. Not another one.
The Junior League or something?
We're going to be down to like 17th and be in Europe.
If you finish, I think it's 9th to 10th, you go in the Junior League.
Oh, my days.
Against minnows from Sweden and...
Jeez, we're playing farmers.
San Marino. See, at what point do you draw the line and say the competition's worthless? I mean, I don't think that Europa Conference League is anything to I wouldn't.
I completely
if it won
agree.
that, I'd probably be like, all right.
It probably costs you more to go to these places than what it does winning the prize money. You know what I mean? Like, I think if you win the Conference League, you go in the Europa League the following season, don't you?
You still get a match day. You still get a match day revenue, obviously. Well, plenty of match day revenue if you're one of these teams. But
Chris, I got a question for you.
Oh boy,
we stay up this season, right?
Right.
Would you take 17th place next season? And I'll ask the same to Dave. Dave's on his head right now.
I don't even have to think about it.
Yeah,
we need to be in the Premier League going into that new stadium. Simple as that.
I mean, yeah, the answer, my gut is to immediately say yes. I'm just trying to figure out if that's even not just rational, but again, why? With the goal of finishing
it's so
17th,
defeatist, considering
well, it's just what's the point of getting
1-0?
But what's the point of getting? I know, no, I don't want to talk about the losses. I know where you're going with that, but I'm saying as a supporter, from a competitive standpoint, you get so invested in this team, you spend loads of time, loads of money, loads of effort, not whether it's this channel or going to the matches or whatever, with your top goal of finishing 17th. It's just depressing. But yeah, I mean, the answer is yes, because of what Wes just said. I mean, with this new stadium is supposed to be a ton of new revenue and new player. You know, it's supposed to completely change this football club, right? In quite simple terms. So yeah, I mean, you have to go to it in the Premier League and not in League One, because I think that if we go down to the championship, it's more than possible that we drop again. I hope it doesn't happen, and I don't think it will, but that's a possibility.
Plus the fact, I mean, having a state-of-the-art football ground to play football in, footballers that want to come to your club will be looking at that thinking, yeah, I want to play in that stadium. Do you know what I mean? We might not be able to attract, superstars, but we might be able to attract decent players rather than players from relegated teams.
No. It's a fair point. All right, I know you want to wrap up, Brian, so I will leave you guys to finish this off. Good chatting. Up the Toffees. We'll see you in a couple days. I'm probably not going to do a watch along tomorrow. Some people ask me, but honestly, I don't want to. It's just.
I think that's one that's going to get controversy, isn't it? If Liverpool.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it does affect us. But I mean, again, there will never be. I will never be rah if Liverpool scores a goal, and I don't know what people are actually expecting me to just come on and be like depressed the whole time, because I'm not going to be happy no matter what happens. Like
I will. I'll celebrate if Liverpool win tomorrow. I
hope people clip that and use it against you for the
No, we
rest
have
of your
to.
life.
We have to support them. We have to.
No, we don't. I can be happy if the result goes our way, but I don't have to actively support them, even though
we need them. I'm sorry, but we need them desperately to win tomorrow. There's no question.
You just
One
lost
win, they're not going to
1,000
get.
followers.
They're not going to get Champions League. They're not going to get Champions League.
You don't know that. It's probably not going to happen, but it's still possible.
They've got to thrash Leicester for us tomorrow.
Yeah.
Depressing. I'm sick of supporting Newcastle, Liverpool. I don't even like supporting us. It's making me ill.
Yeah.
I've got paresthesia. I've got pins and knee. I've got paresthesia in my hands and feet. Migraines constantly.
Right.
It's all from supporting this and then having to support 6 other teams. It's just not for me anymore, this football.
Look at me.
It's not that fun.
I'm only 17.
I only like the fish and chips at Goodison. I'm only 17. I offered you 17th for next season. I don't know. You can tell how cynical I'm feeling right now.
But I hate that I would take it. That makes, again, can't stress enough. It is a depressing way to live your life, what we're going through right now. But it's not over yet.
If I said we could win the league next season, but you could never come to a game for 10 years, what would you say?
Oh, I'd take that.
Christy is always thinking of the bigger picture.
I've already had 2 10-year stretches where I never went to a game anyway in my life. So when
you were born doesn't count.
Yeah, it does.
We need a new channel pundit
Oh God,
And
am I
what I'm
fired?
looking for, no, I want someone
To ride a unicorn. Is that what you want?
I want a moron who's going to come on and going to be very entertaining and basically not be as rational and bigger picture.
You saw how
as
this
you
worked
guys.
last time you tried this, right?
You're too smart. You're thinking too
Oh,
well about
stop
the bigger
it.
picture.
Making me blush. Quit.
I need someone to come on and
do?
say, absolutely rubbish today. Everton should have turned Man City over. I remember when we were beating Man City, 6-0 when they were in the Football League. I've seen us win trophies. This Everton team, we've spent a lot of money. We should be battering Man. Someone, I want someone with a really absurd.
Well, I could also, if you really want to go the other way, though, I could also go full Ted Lasso and just be like mega positivity with a country accent. But
see, I've been told to watch this Ted Lasso thing.
It's a good show.
It's
I
brilliant.
haven't.
Yeah.
I actually am not caught up. I haven't watched the 3rd season, which is supposed to be the last season. But I mean, it's a wholesome, make you feel good and give you
Is
some
it?
laughs show.
Yeah, it's good.
Is it a comedy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, but it's
It's
got
a
a good
comedy.
storyline. Here's
He
the
literally
thing.
doesn't know anything about football.
I mean, here's the thing. I related to it more because I dated someone from the UK for a little over a year. And so the beginning of it, like in the first couple episodes, deal with his getting used to the lingo and dealing with being over there for the first time and trying to fit in with the locals. And that's literally something I went through. And so like every time he hears a different word, it becomes a joke. And it's just, that to me was hilarious.
Is he like a world-renowned coach that gets a Premier League job?
He's an American football coach.
Yeah,
That is a big motivator. And so they hired, well, I don't want to spoil it. Just watch the first couple episodes. If that doesn't get you, then you're not going to like it. Like some people love it, some people don't get it. But I think that you will probably like it. Jazz will definitely like it. So I think you should give it a shot.
Isn't it where he gets hired by the person who owns the club, now the woman,
right?
Gets her ex-husband who now owns West Ham. Doesn't he get hired as a manager by him, and then obviously he's gone, he's left, but he's
Wes, don't say much more because you're spoiling what happens in the first few episodes. So yeah, just
something about West Ham and Karen Brady.
Let it go, Wes.
Karen Brady.
I'm just gonna say it's a decent show. Here's the thing: if you go into it expecting it to be like, because a couple people in the comments are saying it's terrible and yada yada. Well, okay, if you go into it expecting football analysis and some serious football, okay, yeah, you'll be disappointed. If you go into it expecting a wholesome comedy, you're gonna think it's a funny show. And no, I'm not just saying it because I'm American. I don't like a lot of American television. I just think this show is decent.
Mark saying, I love watching Arsenal fans now Brighton lash them. I wanted to enjoy Southampton's relegation, and then I thought, actually, I haven't got a problem with Southampton, and we're probably going to get relegated, so I can't enjoy it. But it is quite funny watching these things. I just miss being mid-table, doing nothing, and just kind of going with the flow. And just
like I said earlier, though, right, is that me and Chris were talking about it earlier with Southampton, and basically they've done what we did. They sacked Hasenhüttl. They got new owners, sacked Hasenhüttl. Got Nathan Jones in, who had no Premier League experience, then sacked him because he was blaming everybody else bar himself. He was blaming the kitchen sink and then bigging himself up when they actually won.
Yeah.
And then they sacked him and got some guy that was already there that probably cleaned tables. You know what I mean? And
it's funny. Just very quickly on the Ted Lasso one. I tend to avoid football things at the moment. I don't play FIFA because Everton, I used to play all the time. And we had Christian Atsu, who was rapid. Rest in peace. I probably shouldn't have mentioned his name in that manner, but I didn't mean anything bad by it. Christian Atsu, Aaron Lennon, Lukaku, Walcott. And we just had pace merchants, and you could have a bit of fun and you just run through and score. And now I just avoid football games. I don't read football TV. You know what I mean? It takes the fun out of it. You lose that kind of a bit of the funness. I just want to go back to being poo. So I do feel for Southampton in a way. And, it's quite laughable that Sulemana and Onachu and all of them went there and they spent a load of money and they got relegated. We talked about actually cherry-picking players. I would have Lavia, although he's Man City's player. They might loan him to us. I would probably have Kyle Walker-Peters. If Seamus Coleman doesn't get back from injury, I don't know. I don't think he's very dynamic, Wes. I think he's just in for the set piece. I think
he's one of the best set piece takers in the league. We
don't need him.
Put it on the two. Of course we do. We haven't got anybody that can cross a ball.
Who is he going to play for?
Who?
Well,
You
would
know
you
we're-
take out?
Well, that's
James
another.
Ward-Prowse is unbelievable at free
You have
kicks.
to take someone out, and he's just been relegated as well.
Do?
He's just got relegated.
Yeah,
He can't be that good.
We could easily take Iwobi out that team. Come on.
You'd take Iwobi out and put James Ward-Prowse in.
I mean, Iwobi's going to be out anyway. Iwobi's going to be out anyway. He's out of
We're
contract now.
pedestrian. We're pedestrian, as it is.
At a drop of a hat, I would take
I'd have-
Iwobi out and put James Ward-Prowse in there.
Yeah,
I'd
I'm
have
not sure.
Suleimana, and I'd probably have Kyle Walker-Peters as a backup. If Coleman's can't get to the fitness, and it's Patterson and Walker-Peters, I'd probably have them too. 'Cause I think-
Suleimana's only quick. He's only quick. When I've watched him, all he's got is pace over like 10 yards. He's not that good.
Oh, Carlos Alcaraz, Leon saying, I think they've got a few good players.
Decent.
I don't know. I just think
Decent
I
at
don't want to
best.
go back to that slow pedestrian midfield. We complained for years that we had no pace, and now we've put a bit of energy in that midfield. We want to strip it out and put someone just because he can take a good free kick. Well, we've got
Yeah, but
people.
he's not scared of a tackle either, though, right?
Yeah, I suppose he's better than Tom Davis, so you'd have him. But what I'm thinking is,
It's so
listen,
good.
I've got
high
3
praise
players.
indeed.
I'm doing your scouting for you this summer. Okay, I want Calvin Phillips from Man City, right?
Oof.
I want Wilf Basuma at Spurs. Okay, these two are not getting games. This is what the type of player we should be going for. And I'll have Kyle Walker-Peters from Southampton to compete. at right
Cucurella
back.
from Chelsea.
No, we're going to pay 60 million for him.
That's not a bad shout, actually, Wes, because we need a left back.
Yeah, I mean these players at Chelsea where they've got them on mega long deals.
Yeah, no,
For mega amounts of money.
Can't afford the
Yeah,
wages.
but we can't afford the wages. We're in dreamland talking here, but hypothetically, you look at the likes of that Mudryk, Cucurella, Mason
I'm ending
Mount,
up with them on
possibly Raheem Sterling.
Chelsea players are terrible. They've got
They're
like
gonna
50
go.
players, and half of them are useless.
They're
Half
going
of
to
them
go.
are absolutely useless. And Stu's just come in right now here. This summer window, if we stay up, stinks of Richarlison back from Spurs for big money. And Bill Kenwright with a banner. We've brought
Welcome back.
welcome back, my boy. My boy is returning after 1 goal at Tottenham and Dwight McNeil. The irony of Neil Maupay playing 31 matches and scoring once. And then bringing back my boy to...
But the thing, the reason I mentioned Chelsea is that Pochettino's supposed to be going there, and he's saying that he wants this player and he wants that player and this player and that player.
Got to
Like,
get rid of some
has he
players,
not looked at their squad?
Oh, Lukaku's back at Chelsea as well.
Yeah, he won't.
Yeah,
be
we'll
staying
see how
there.
that goes. I don't think
Well,
he's going to go back.
Pochettino clearly hasn't looked at the size of that squad. or the fact
Lukaku's
that
about to
they've
be in the
got-
Champions League final, by the way,
Yeah,
barring a crazy collapse by Inter.
He'll win it,
Milan,
and
which
that will
could
be
happen.
typical Everton. John Stones goes to City, wins the league. Blah, 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 blah. Lukaku gets the Champions League.
I'd be
I
okay
wonder if we get
with
some money for that. If John Stones win the Champions League with Man City, I wonder if there's anything in that contract where we get money for that.
From a
Big.
sale from 7 years ago or 6 years
That's
ago, whatever
brilliant,
it was. I don't-
Yeah, but if it's in the contract where add-ons include winning the Champions League, doesn't matter how long.
Yeah, but I wonder if it was. I mean, he's on a second contract with them, so I mean, I wonder if it had to be the same deal. Don't know.
Don't know.
Would you have?
Well-
Would you have? Just looking at Southampton's squad, would you have Salisu?
They're not going to get short of him, are they? Has he not just gone there this season?
Would
Mind
you have
so
him?
is that Suleimana.
Would you have him?
It
Instead of
depends
who?
though, because again, it's now it becomes who are we actually going to have on our own squad next season. So if we have to fill these holes because we have literal emptiness in the hole right now, then maybe I'll have some more of these players than I would if you asked me would I take him over Decore or Onana or something like that.
No, he's a sentiment. Would you have
No, but
Lyanco?
hang on, you're not hearing what I'm saying. If we don't have a player in the central midfield, that's what I'm saying. If some of these players leave, then maybe. But if they do end up deciding to stay, whatever the contract is, then that changes my answer to the question.
Wes, you'd probably go for Walcott, wouldn't you, on a 1 year?
Stop it.
Oh, okay. All seriousness, Jan Bednarek.
No,
No.
he's another Michael Keane. 100%. He's another
Stuart
Michael
Armstrong.
Keane.
Stuart Armstrong could do a
No.
job
Mm.
for the under 23s. Couldn't do a job
Yeah.
for the under 23s for 1 year.
Stuart Armstrong, he's a good tackler.
What about Willie Caballero, the goalkeeper?
No,
If we
Fifth
lose.
choice to replace what's his face?
Monaghan.
Yeah.
This
I
is
hope we don't
this
get
is
the
this is
Chelsea.
not a fun
we're
game,
actually, we're
by the way.
actually just stripping our team here to death to get
What about that
like
guy
for liking.
Tino Liver?
Livramento.
Livramento.
Have these
Livramento.
players just turned to crap, basically?
Well,
'Cause he was.
I don't
He
know
was
if
meant to be
Livra
brilliant,
was
that
a good.
guy.
He was a good fantasy shout last year, but not so much this season. What do you think? What do you actually think of a rational name, Shea Adams? Because he was linked to us a couple of times in the last 2 transfer windows.
He's got more intensity in his game than Mope and more of a
Right.
dynamic forward, but I absolutely wouldn't go for him. If I was to take my pick, I'd probably have Carlos Alcaraz at the right price. I'd have Lavia, but I think he's a Man City player, and Kyle Walker-Peters. I think they could boost to the squad. But, you know, I've moaned about signing players from relegated teams and expected them to suddenly have this winning mentality. I hope it's more imaginative, and I'd like to see us put offers in for someone like Calvin Phillips, Basuma. Ask about Richarlison again on loan, possibly. Spurs might let him go on loan with a view to permanent if they could sell him after a good season again.
Is that Lavia at Southampton? He's going to go back to City, and he's not going to get in that team, is he? Let's be honest. So he'll be loaned out again anyway.
No, he's not on loan.
Is he not? He's on. I thought he was on loan from City.
No, he signed a 5.5-year contract last summer.
Oh, did he? I thought he was on loan from City.
I'd have him. He's good. He's good.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
still
young as well.
upset that I had been not raving, but I had been desiring Pedro from Watford, and he signed with Brighton in the past couple of weeks, which makes me know that I was right, because if Brighton are signing a player, it's pretty much a lock that they're going to resell this player for 50 million more quid in the next couple of years. So I really think that could have helped. I don't know if that was a money issue or whatever the case was. I think it was. Probably the same goes for Xhaka from Coventry, who I'm told is about to sign with somebody else, which sucks, but whatever.
Yeah. I'm hoping that we can just get the season wrapped up, win next week, hopefully at Wolves, get the season wrapped up, stay up, forget about Bournemouth, make it a party, celebrate mediocrity, and then we can just do streams where it's literally...
What are we going to do in the summer?
Just get bladders.
Transfer.
Let's go on here.
Get Maxi on to scream at people.
Yeah, transfer news every day.
It'll literally be a daily rumor. Hello, welcome to Follow Everton. I've just got the latest rumor. Everton have been linked with Wilfred Basuma, believe it or not. And actually, talking about that, but unfortunately, it looks closer to be signing a deal for James Ward-Prowse. It'll just be literally recycling.
We can have a watch along of all of the highlights from our entire season. It'll be about 2 minutes, I think.
We can do a rerun of that.
A minute and a half of the Brighton match, and then a little.
We could do what Soccer Saturday do with Christmas, and have all the best bits. Probably last about 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You guys can do a 2-year analysis of what, or maybe not 2 years. It might be too long. Just this year, which is just as bad as last year.
I think I would
where's it gone wrong?
No exaggeration. I think I would actually rather have a colonoscopy than do analysis of our last 2 years on a stream.
Do a video season review, Chris. I'm delegating that to you. Season review.
You don't pay me enough for that.
I downright refuse.
The power of veto. My American power of veto.
Listen, if he's gonna pay you to just say shit, happy days. Season review, shit. End the season review.
Thanks for joining us.
The only time I've enjoyed watching Everton was, and I didn't even enjoy it, they didn't even let us have the World Cup because we were crap against Celtic, weren't we? And that
we beat team. That. No, didn't we win? We didn't win anything in Australia.
No, we won both. I think we won both on pens.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
The Sydney Cup.
Pitiful. And preseason was crap. We knew it was coming from preseason. Listen, in the summer, if we stay up, I just want to see a new left back who can run up and down, and a creative midfielder, a backup striker, and a winger with pace who can actually beat someone and get the ball into the box. That's my 4 players. Anyway,
hang on before you go. Who's going to do the post match if we happen to go down on the last day? Because I'm not doing it.
Oof.
Oh my god!
I could never actually get on here and maintain composure. I couldn't. I don't think.
Well, you wouldn't be expected to. Yeah. This is the thing. You think you need to be super professional.
But I pride myself on professionalism. That's
no, it's not like that here. It is professional. But listen, if we go down, I would probably literally come on for 2 minutes on my own and just say, we're shit. We've been relegated. We deserve to go because we would have deserved to go down, and that's it.
The
We'll be
fume
back.
would be palatable.
Yeah.
You all basically.
Well, you guys would be honestly. I worry for all of you's sake because I can't. I mean, if we go down on the
My
last
brother-
day, the nastiness around the stadium is going to be unbelievable.
At least you're in the States.
That's what I'm saying.
We have to
Really
be
hope
laughed
it
at by
doesn't
copites for.
Well, no, for sure, and that's bad. And don't get me wrong, that's the worst, and it's going to be miserable. I'm not denying that, but what I'm saying is just the actual violence and nastiness. We can plead all we want to. We hope you don't do it, and we because I really do hope that it doesn't get too bad. But I just think it's going to be. I think it's going to be murder around the stadium and in
I'm
the
not
city and all
saying
that stuff.
anything, people. I'm not saying anything.
Well, your brother did earlier, so
if we go down, if in next season we don't beat Wolves, I've got to work straight. I'm literally at a wedding working. And I'll literally be starting, and I'm like, "Oh my god, what
next week you think?"
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The Bournemouth game. Oh, I think I'm obviously not working. I'm out. I really pray it doesn't go down to that because I can't stomach it. I just can't stomach it. And if we go down, there's all hell's going to break loose.
I've got an even worse scenario for you. You ready? So we lose to Wolves. Leeds get a point, so Leeds draw. So now, on the last day, we not only need to match Leeds' result, we have to up their goal difference. But let's say we both win, then we have to win by more goals than Leeds do. So now, I mean, what's it going to be? People checking their phone the whole time on the sideline, like we're up 3-1, but Leeds are up 3-0. So now all of a sudden we have to throw another striker on the what a mad nightmare that would be.
What I think we should do, right, is we should ring Bournemouth up and ask them to bring Hans Segers out of retirement and put him in goal. And I think we'll have a chance.
We could ring Bournemouth up and give them £20 million we'll say we'll buy your worst player for £20 million in the summer.
But he'll probably still be better than anything we've got.
We'll buy your third choice goalie for 20 mil, but you have to throw the game.
This isn't fun.
Oof.
It's desperation, but it's disgusting. And if you don't laugh, you cry. One thing I just want to very quickly say, Stevie's coming up to stay with me for the last game.
Oh boy,
Bournemouth. So if we get relegated against Bournemouth, and it's going to be like, he's got his driving test that weekend as well. It's going to be like hell.
It'll be a fun night round the Irons.
I will smack someone in the face.
Let's just beat Wolves. How about that?
Let's just beat Wolves. Wolves were shit at one point.
Wolves home, but Wolves home form has been. I think they have 3 straight clean sheets. So I'm a little bit worried about that. Now we proved against Brighton that doesn't matter. Brighton had 2 straight clean sheets on the bounce, and then we ended up going in and scoring 5. So that doesn't always mean everything. But Wolves on defense have been a little bit better.
The first goal and the early goal is the most important. You need to get the first goal because then teams open up against you.
We've had good times.
That's what we need to do. We need to get that first goal. We need then teams to open up, and we get them when they overcommit.
Right.
If we get that early goal against Wolves, we need a repeat of the Brighton. Let them try and attack us. I don't know whether they'll be that arsed to even try and go for it that much, but
don't know. We'll see. That game is Saturday. I assume our match preview will be Thursday if that's when the press conference is. But I'm gonna jump off now, and I will look forward to.
I'm jumping up. No, we're wrapping it up.
Okay,
yeah, you won't get your head down.
Make sure you like and subscribe. Draw.
I don't know my dogs very well.